Hello and welcome to this special English immersion journey. I am thrilled to have you here. In this video, we aren't just studying a language. We are experiencing a lifestyle. By the end of this session, you will master market vocabulary, learn how to negotiate like a pro, and most importantly, find the burning motivation to never give up on your dreams. We will start simple and gradually climb the mountain to advanced English. Stay with me until the very last second, because the gold is hidden at the end. The sun is rising. The air is fresh. Welcome to the Central Market. Look around you. What do you see? I see a man. He is a seller. He has a small shop. In his shop, there are many things. There are red tomatoes, green cucumbers, and yellow lemons. Listen to the sounds. People are walking. They are talking. A woman is walking to the fruit stand. She says, "Good morning. I need some oranges." The seller smiles. He says, "Good morning. How many do you want?" She says, "I want 5 oranges, please." This is English. Simple and clear. You don't need big words to start. You only need a big heart. If you can say "I want 5 oranges," you are already speaking English. Be proud of yourself. Every small step is a victory. Don't look at the top of the mountain yet. Just look at your next step. Now, let's look at the colors. The market is like a rainbow. Look at those purple eggplants and the bright red strawberries. In English, we use adjectives before nouns. We say red apple, not apple red. Let's talk about money. How much does it cost? This is a very important question. If you go to a market in London, New York, or Dubai, you need to ask this. The seller might say, "It is $3 a kilo." If you think it is expensive, you can say, "That is a bit pricey." Do you have anything cheaper? Learning a language is exactly like shopping. You collect words. Some words are common and cheap because you use them every day. Some words are rare and expensive because they are formal. Today, we are filling our shopping bags with the best words possible. As we move further into the heart of the market, the conversations become more interesting. You see 2 people standing near a spice stall. The smell of cinnamon and saffron is everywhere. They aren't just buying spices, they are building a relationship. In English culture, especially in local markets, small talk is essential. You might hear someone say, "Lovely weather today, isn't it?" Or "Have you tried these dates? They are exceptionally sweet this season." If you are at level B1, you should start using connectors. Words like however, therefore, and on the other hand. For example, I wanted to buy the handmade rug. However, it was slightly out of my budget. Why are you learning English? Is it for a job? For travel? Or to prove something to yourself? Remember this. The person who asks a question is a fool for 5 minutes, but the person who never asks is a fool forever. In this market of life, don't be afraid to sound silly. Your mistakes are your best teachers. When you forget a word, don't stop. Find another way to say it. That is called fluency, the ability to keep the conversation flowing despite the obstacles. Now, let us pause for a moment and observe the market from a distance. From this perspective, the marketplace is a metaphor for human potential. Every stall represents a skill. Some people spend their whole lives at the same stall, selling the same old habits. But you? You are different. You are exploring. At a B2 level, you must grasp the nuances of the language. It's not just about buying and selling anymore. It's about acquisition and transaction. It's about understanding the cultural implications behind the words. When a vendor says, "I'll give you a fair deal," he is appealing to your sense of justice. When you reply, "I'll take my business elsewhere," you are asserting your autonomy. English gives you the power to negotiate your place in the world. I want you to think about your English journey as a long-term investment. You might not see the profit today or tomorrow. But if you keep showing up to this market, if you keep listening to these sounds, one day you will wake up and realize that you aren't translating in your head anymore. You are simply living the language. This section focuses on sensory descriptions and complex social interactions. Let's walk deeper into the narrow alleys of this ancient market. Can you smell that? It's a mixture of roasted coffee, exotic spices, and aged leather. In English, we use specific verbs for smells. It aromas, it scents, or it simply smells divine. Imagine you stop at a spice stall. The owner is an old man with a kind face. He has seen thousands of people pass by his shop. Good afternoon. I was captivated by the rich aroma of your spices from across the street. What is your specialty? The vendor. Ah, welcome. You have a keen sense of smell. This is my family's secret blend of 7 spices. We have been grinding these by hand for 3 generations. Would you like a sample? I'd be honored. Honestly, I'm looking for something that adds a kick to my stews but isn't overwhelmingly spicy. Do you have any recommendations? The vendor. In that case, you must try this smoked paprika combined with a hint of dried coriander. It's subtle, yet it lingers on the palate. Notice the words used here: captivated, specialty, keen, generations, overwhelmingly subtle, palate. These are the spices of your vocabulary. If you only use good or nice, your English stays bland. To reach level B2, you must start adding these flavorful adjectives to your sentences. Don't just say the food is good. Say the flavors are perfectly balanced and the texture is exquisite. Now, let's talk about a skill every successful person needs: negotiation. In a market, prices aren't always set in stone. The same applies to your career and your life. If you don't ask for a better deal, you won't get one. I'm afraid that's a bit beyond my budget at the moment. Is there any room for flexibility on the price? If I take 2 of these, could you throw in a discount? Let's meet halfway. How about $50? Many English learners are afraid of these situations. They fear they will make a grammar mistake and look foolish. But listen to me, the market doesn't care about your grammar, it cares about your message. When you negotiate, you are practicing strategic competence. You are using the language as a tool to achieve a goal. If you can convince a vendor to lower his price by 10% using your English, you have won. You have proven that your language skills have real-world value. Stop waiting for perfection before you start action. Perfection is a ghost that will keep you silent forever. Action is the key that opens the door to fluency. Detailed descriptions of handmade goods and the philosophy of hard work. We move from the spice stalls to the section of handmade crafts. Here, you see artisans working with copper, wood, and silk. You see a master weaver working on a carpet. Thousands of tiny knots. Look at his hands. They are rough and scarred. Each scar tells a story of a mistake made and a lesson learned. This carpet will take 6 months to complete. He doesn't rush. He knows that excellence takes time. Your English is like this carpet. Each word you learn, each podcast you listen to, each video you watch is a knot. You might feel frustrated because you can't see the whole pattern yet. You might look at your work and think, it's just a mess of strings. But if you keep tying those knots, day after day, month after month, the pattern will emerge. One day, you will step back and see a masterpiece. You will realize that the struggle wasn't an obstacle, it was the process of creation itself. Artisan, a worker in a skilled trade, especially one that involves making things by hand. Masterpiece, a work of outstanding artistry, skill, or workmanship. Emerge, to become apparent, important, or prominent. Frustration, the feeling of being upset or annoyed as a result of being unable to change or achieve something. In this section, we explore the food court of the market, focusing on descriptive language and social etiquette. As we continue our journey, a new sensation takes over. We have arrived at the food and street vending section of the market. This is the heart of the community. In English, when we talk about food, we move beyond delicious. We use words that describe the soul of the dish. The sizzling sound of meat on the grill, the steam rising from giant pots of soup, and the rhythmic chopping of vegetables. It's a symphony of flavors. People from all walks of life are sitting on wooden benches, sharing stories and laughter. This is where language becomes a bridge. Customer, excuse me, what is that mouth-watering dish everyone seems to be ordering? Vendor, that's our signature slow-cooked lamb with saffron rice. It's been simmering for over 8 hours. Customer, it looks incredible. Is it quite heavy, or is it more on the light side? Vendor, it's rich and hearty, perfect for a cold afternoon like today. I'll give you a side of pickled vegetables to balance the richness. Customer, that sounds like a plan. I'll take a portion, please. And could I have a glass of that herbal tea as well? Why do we talk about food in a language lesson? Because food is a universal language. Just like a chef balances spices, you must balance your language skills. You need grammar, the structure, the heat, vocabulary, the ingredients, and confidence, the presentation. If you have the best ingredients, but you are afraid to serve the dish, no one will ever know how good you are. Don't let your English stay in the kitchen of your mind. Serve it to the world, even if it's not a 5-star meal yet. Focusing on the unwritten rules of English and idiomatic expressions found in a marketplace. Every market has its secrets, hidden shops that only the locals know about. To find them, you need to read between the lines. In English, we have many idioms that come from the world of trade and markets. Let's master a few. To buy a pig in a poke, this means to buy something without looking at it carefully first. Lesson: never buy a pig in a poke when it comes to your education. Research, practice, and be critical. To talk shop, to talk about your work or business even when you are not working. Lesson: it's okay to talk shop about English with your friends. It makes the language part of your identity. A dime a dozen, something very common and not valuable. Lesson: basic skills are a dime a dozen. But a person who can speak English with empathy and passion? That is rare. When you walk through a market, you aren't just a consumer, you are an observer of human nature. You see the greed, the generosity, the patience, and the hustle. English is the same. When you read a book or listen to a speech, don't just look for the meaning of words. Look for the intention. Is the speaker trying to persuade you? To comfort you? To challenge you? An emotional and motivational section about overcoming failure. Suddenly, the sky turns gray. A light rain begins to fall. In the market, there is a sudden rush. Vendors scramble to cover their goods with plastic sheets. Some look stressed, others stay calm. Life isn't always sunny days and successful trades. There will be days when your English feels broken. Days when you try to speak and the words get stuck in your throat. Days when people don't understand you, and you feel like going home and giving up. Listen to me carefully. The rain doesn't stop the market, it only changes the rhythm. If you have a bad day in your English journey, it doesn't mean you are a failure. It means you are in the middle of a storm. What do? You cover your goods, your passion and your hard work, and you wait for the sun. You don't leave the marketplace. You stay. You endure. The most successful people in this world aren't the ones who never failed. They are the ones who were willing to get wet in the rain, to slip in the mud, and to keep walking until the clouds cleared. Your struggle is not a sign of weakness, it is a sign of your growth. If it's hard, it's because you are leveling up. Expanding the topic to digital markets and the future of English. As we exit the traditional market, we see the digital world. The global marketplace. Today, you can talk to someone in London, Tokyo, or Rio de Janeiro with a single click. The language that connects all these people? English. In this modern era, English is no longer a foreign language, it is a global language. It belongs to you as much as it belongs to a native speaker. Globalization, the process by which businesses or other organizations develop international influence. Interconnectedness, the state of being connected with each other. Adaptability, the quality of being able to adjust to new conditions. Whether you are buying a handmade rug in a dusty alley or negotiating a software contract on Zoom, the principles are the same: clarity, respect, and persistence. You are here because you want to be part of the global conversation. You are here because you refuse to be silent. This section focuses on the transition from learning to mastering, using high-level vocabulary and metaphorical language. The sun is beginning to set over the horizon of our marketplace. This is what photographers call the golden hour. The light is soft, and everything looks different. In your English journey, there is also a golden hour. It is that moment when you stop studying and start feeling the language. As the vendors pack their bags, we see the true value of the day's work. It wasn't just about the profit, it was about the resilience. To reach the next level of fluency, you must develop an ear for the language. This means noticing the intonation, the rhythm, and the pauses. In English, we say it's not just what you say, but how you say it. A simple hello can be a question, a greeting, or even a warning, depending on your tone. This is the stage where you move from being a student to being an artist. You start playing with the language. You start using irony, humor, and sarcasm. These are the tools of a sophisticated speaker. Intonation, the rise and fall of the voice in speaking. Resilience, the capacity to recover quickly from difficulties. Toughness. Sophisticated, having, revealing, or proceeding from a great deal of worldly experience and knowledge of fashion and culture. Nuance, a subtle difference in or shade of meaning, expression, or sound. A long, structured dialogue to provide deep listening practice. Let's listen to one final conversation between two elderly shopkeepers who have been in this market for 50 years. Their English is slow, deliberate, and full of wisdom. Old man. You know, Benjamin, I've watched this world change through the lens of this small shop. I've seen empires rise and fall, but people always come to the market for the same thing. Old man. And what is that, Elias? Is it the bread? The cloth? Old man. No. They come for connection. They come to feel that they belong to something bigger. This language we are speaking, this English, it's just another market. It's a place where a man from the East can understand a man from the West. Old man. True. But many are afraid to enter. They stand at the gates, clutching their grammar books, terrified of making a mistake. Old man. That is the tragedy, isn't it? They forget that a market is noisy. It's messy. You are supposed to shout, to laugh, and to fail. Perfection is for museums. The market is for the living. Listening to slow and deep English is just as important as listening to fast, native speech. It helps your brain process the philosophy behind the words. It builds your linguistic stamina, the ability to focus on long passages of speech without getting tired. A recap of everything learned in the video to ensure maximum retention. Before we conclude, let's look back at our shopping bag of knowledge from today's journey. We have covered a vast territory. Level A1, we learned the names of fruits, basic colors, and how to say I want. Level A2, we tackled prices, simple descriptions, and the adjective plus noun rule. Level B1, we explored the art of small talk, the importance of connectors like however, and the courage to ask questions. Level B2, we dived into the deep end, negotiation strategies, idioms like buying a pig in a poke, and the philosophy of consistent growth. Don't just watch this video and close your laptop. I challenge you to pick 5 new words from this script. Use them in a sentence today. Record yourself speaking for 2 minutes about your own market experience. Listen to your recording and be your own teacher. A high-energy, emotional conclusion designed to make the viewer stay until the end and feel inspired. The gates of the market are closing for tonight, but the gates of your potential are wide open. You might feel like you are at the beginning. You might feel like the road is too long. But remember, every master was once a disaster. Every fluent speaker once struggled to say hello. The only difference between them and those who failed is one word: persistence. You have the tools. You have the passion. And now you have the vocabulary. Go out there and make mistakes. Be loud. Be bold. Be curious. The world is a giant marketplace of ideas, and your voice deserves to be heard in it. Thank you for staying with me until the very end. Your dedication is the first proof of your future success. If you found value in this journey, share it with someone who needs a spark of hope. Goodbye for now, but remember, your English journey is just beginning. See you in the next lesson, where we will climb even higher. Keep practicing, keep dreaming, and above all, keep speaking.